This is a 4-pack of Edison style LED light bulbs. So they're 6 watt, they're dimmable, they have ST58 is the model there. Over here they say model ST58 XW. They're made by H&D Home Interchanges. And these particular set are the 2700 Kelvin warm white. You can get them in different color temperatures as well. So I was sent this box to review for free. Normally it would cost you somewhere between $3 and $4 per bulb, depending on if you get coupons and so forth. So this is the 4-pack, and you have 4 bulbs in a little plastic protective package here. And these are pretty standard looking, where they have 4 LED filaments inside of a glass bulb. The box does say that they're not waterproof. So these are not for outdoor locations, these are for indoor locations only. So let's plug them in, figure out how many watts they actually draw and what they look like. All right, we have a watt meter here. We are going to turn on the light. And when we first turn it on, it jumps up to about 5.9 watts. So it does look like it's drawing very close to the 6 watts that they advertise. Now the power factor on this light bulb is 0.55. That's probably not going to matter for a 6 watt load, but just keep in mind that the power factor is not a 1.0 power factor. And that just means your volt amps are higher than the actual watts being drawn. So we have about 11 volt amps here. So I've been watching this light. It's been turned on for about 10 minutes now. I've seen it get as high as 6.2 watts. Right now it's at 6.1 watts. So, you know, the total average watt draw might be closer to 6.1 watts. Every so often it does drop down to 6.0. So I think it's pretty fair to say, yeah, it's about a 6 watt bulb. So the glass of the bulb is just warm to the touch. It's only been about 10 minutes or so that it was turned on. I imagine if you leave this on for longer, that bulb will heat up a lot more, but it's certainly not anywhere near as hot as an actual incandescent bulb. All right, this is what the bulbs look like in a line. My initial impression here is that these guys are a little bit dimmer than a 60 watt equivalent incandescent bulb. Obviously they use 10 times less power, but I would call these more like maybe 45 watt equivalent bulbs. I have no way to actually measure the actual lumens they're putting out, and their marketing copy doesn't claim a specific lumen amount. So they're definitely lighting up the room. They're definitely making a decent amount of light, but I think I've seen other LED bulbs, not necessarily the filament style, but other LED bulbs that produce a little more light for your wattage. So you may not be quite as efficient as the kind of more traditional LED bulbs, but they're definitely producing light. And I think if you're buying this type of bulb, you're doing it more for the aesthetic of the filament style LED strips than for the actual super efficiency. Now the base of this bulb has kind of a white circuit board at the bottom, and I believe the numbers on it say E37 TG-5A, but that's the only real numbers I can read on that little white circuit board at the base. Markings on the bulb here are 120 volts, 6 watts, and dim for dimmable. I do not have a dimmable feature, so I'm not testing the ability of these to dim. All right, they're working well now. Obviously, the real question is, how long will they last? And so I'll update this review if anything starts to go wrong with them.